All right, both great games. Both
Both
kind of shadow dropped out of nowhere.
GoldenEye's been known. Hi-Fi Rush, no. I can't wait to talk about it. That game is great so far.
Well, GoldenEye, like it was announced way back because we did that recording. Remember, we did the Nintendo Direct recording, and then we lost the footage of it somehow.
Yeah, yeah.
And we were both really excited because what was stated was Xbox was getting the 4K edition without online multiplayer, and Nintendo Switch was getting like an original edition with added online multiplayer. It was really confusing, but still excited to be able to play GoldenEye because that game has always been strapped to the N64.
It has. I had an N64 for a good while. I didn't end up beating it, but I played a good chunk of GoldenEye. And if I ever had one complaint with it, it was the controls. And we'll talk about it in a second, but it was
Oh,
very
man.
excusable on
No.
the N64
No.
because they weren't great, but the controller was so wonky anyways that it just was kind of all part of the experience. I actually got used to playing on the N64. I just did.
It just was such a wonky control style. Depending on how you want to play it, you could either use the D-pad or the orange directional buttons as your movement, and it just
Yep.
never seemed right, especially with the joystick as your aim. And it wasn't like a traditional shooter uh, where you aim, the the person aims. It was more of you have to press this button and then aim, and it just was kind of wonky how it all worked out.
Yeah, it was backwards, but I actually didn't mind it as much on the N64 for whatever reason. You know, you switch it to solitaire, this play style instead of honey. You know, the honey was garbage, but solitaire was all right. You switch it to that, you know, it's playable. What isn't playable is what Nintendo did as far as their specific version of GoldenEye for their online service.
All right,
They
when it comes to this, I want you to talk about it because I did not do the online Switch edition.
mm,
You did. I just watched a bunch of videos, so I don't have that first experience like you do.
Okay, so as far as looks go, it's all right. 1080p upscale, no big deal. It can handle it. Looks fine, runs fine.
Okay.
But where they get me is the controls. It is one thing to go back and play on a goofy controller that you're not used to anyways. No problem. You know, you figure it out pretty quick. There is no option to reverse the controls. It is left stick look, right stick aim, no matter what you do. No matter what. Complete
What's the
opposite.
movement?
Movement movement is right stick. Looking around left stick. You cannot change that. You
Oh.
cannot switch them at all.
That's kind of weird.
It's unplayable on a modern controller. Absolutely unplayable. I'm not kidding. Like I said, wonky controller, that's fine. You have to relearn that anyway. Modern controller with a decade of muscle memory, it's literally unplayable. The only way I got around it was I took my Joy-Cons and I traded hands. And it works And it works okay. It's not comfortable to hold, but at least that way the sticks line up and then shoot is the right trigger again and aim is the left. Not ideal. And no option for Pro Controller. It's super, super dumb to the point where I'm not going to play that version.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I heard some things because, like I said, while we knew this was coming out, it went silent for a long time, and then they just announced it all of a sudden it was coming. Like, just the day of it, here you go. So, yeah, that's kind of disappointing to hear that they didn't really fix anything with the Nintendo edition.
They did not. It is so disappointing. So disappointing.
Did you try the online at least? Like, does that at least play
I-
functionally?
I did not try it. I didn't have anyone else, to my knowledge, with online service, so I had no one to really go up against. It's just the 4-player, you know, TDM, or not TDM. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, that's kind of stupid.
It's what it's always been. That was always the good part. They say it's like, have it, back in the day, have friends over on your N64. You'd all huddle around your tiny little CRT television and play 4-player split screen, and it was great.
Well, yeah, no, that's really cool that you get to like experience that split screen like experience, kind of like It Takes Two or any of the other Switch Online games. But they didn't add like more modes or anything, or
I do not believe you can play the game multiplayer. You can only play the multiplayer mode, the sole one, with friends online. That's the only
Okay.
difference.
That's kind of disappointing.
It is. But
Now, as far as the Xbox version,
that's what I want to talk about. I played through the first 2 levels today on Xbox. It is wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. They fix the controls. They have their own control scheme for Xbox controllers, and it just works. If you, Zeth, want to see what it's like to play on a Switch, go to the original ones and select solitaire. That's even the best case scenario.
I'm good.
Yeah, I think that's just what it's like to understand it.
No, I was really excited because GoldenEye, I had played it like halfway through on an emulator, and that was fine because you could, switch the controls up to what you want. But the actual game itself is buried under a decade old of just bad design, in my opinion. Like, it's not, for the time it was revolutionary, yes, but when you go back and you play that original version, like zooming into people, you're getting hit by people that you can't see. It's just buried under that N64 limitations. So now when you're having the Xbox version that is not only widescreen 4K, but they also made it where it's 60 frames a second or 30, like it's a locked frame rate.
Yep.
As well as you can see all the enemies. So for instance, when you're in your sniper range and you're trying to scope somebody across the map, you can see that person. It's not like you're getting buried by people you can't see because of the limitations of the hardware.
Exactly. And I had taken my Xbox. I had a Series X, and the S and X are excellent for emulation. There's a ton of tutorials online. They're really good at emulating old games. So I had experience emulating GoldenEye, upscaling it and everything, and it worked pretty good. It's very playable. You can map the controls to everything. Ran fine, even upscaled. But it has this level of polish now with this new version because the software company actually worked on, making sure everything ran smoothly, making sure the music was updated a bit. I feel just making sure it was a better overall experience. It is by far my favorite way to play GoldenEye right now. Even I'd say over the original on the N64.
Bum ba bum 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 ba bum 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 ba bum 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 ba bum bum.
Now that's what I call good enough. Sorry about that, technical difficulties on my end. It's been a minute. Forgive me for that, but oh man.
Well, you know what I've been playing recently?
What?
A game called Hi-Fi Rush on Xbox. This game came out of nowhere, and I want to discuss it with you.
Really? I've been playing that one a bit as well, and I love it.
Really? It's not like we planned this or nothing.
No, nothing like that.
Yeah.
Oh man, that game is so good though.
It is very good so far.
I was watching it live, the broadcast, and they said available today. I'm like, that looks so intriguing. Downloaded it, played it. From being out of nowhere and being not a major studio game, you can just tell that they put a lot of love and care into such a good idea.
Yeah, and it really makes me think that Bethesda might put ideas more to the forefront. I'm hoping, because Bethesda's really been kind of pulling out stinkers lately. But, this is something that is very surprising. It's kind of an anti-Xbox game.
In what way?
Like, it's colorful, it's got a style to it. It's very Japanese, in my opinion. So, this feels more akin to something like for the Nintendo Switch or the PlayStation. Like Xbox, when you think of Xbox, it's like you think of people buying it for their shooters or their Call of Duties or uh, just not something like this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree. It makes sense because they bought out Bethesda, but I kind of do associate the cell shaded style to be more akin to like the Nintendo Switch or something. It's always
Hmm.
been my favorite style for video games, though.
Yeah, I thought of right away. I was gonna play it the other day, but I forgot that you didn't send it to me yet. But it reminded me immediately about Jet Set Radio.
Oh right. Ah man, that's a funny story too. I've been telling them all about it, all these years. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to come down and visit. And when I do, I'm going to bring it. So I carefully placed it in my bag, brought it all the way down. And then I kind of forgot I brought it down. And then months later,
Yeah, what?
what happens, Eth?
I like. Let me see if I can get it. It's like complete in box too. Like it's cut. You brought it down, and I've been really busy lately, so I haven't really been able to play it. And the other day, I was playing some Alan Wake, and I was like, you know what? I'll try some Jet Set for a little bit. And then I opened it. I was like, oh,
Don't ask me how I remembered the user manual and not the disc, but
it's complete in box too.
yeah, it must be in my Xbox right now cuz I have a copy of it with with the game in it too. I had a spare copy. So if I plug in my old Xbox right now and I open it up, it's gonna be right there.
I don't
I
know, but like I was like looking. I was like, I don't remember trying this out already. So I was like, all right, maybe I stuck it in another game case, which I never do, but I was like, all right, just in case. So I literally opened like hundreds of game cases and I was like, all right, don't have any. Don't have Jet Set Radio.
I think I just kind of assumed because the manuals was in it and there was just weight to it that it was in there.
Mm.
I must have mixed up which one I brought down or something, but either way, it's a little
It's just a
silly.
funny experience. I just find it funny.
Yeah. Well, sorry about that, but I'm sure it's a
Nah.
lot. I'm sure I can mail that down somehow. Netflix figured it out. I think I can too.
Yeah. So anyway, about Hi-Fi Rush. For those that don't know about this game, it came out of nowhere. Xbox did a Nintendo Direct, basically. They said they were going to announce some new games. This game they showed off, and they were like, here you go.
Mhm. Mhm.
And it's an actual game. Like, it's not some indie project. It's an actual, not AAA, but I would say AA game.
Yeah, it's not an indie, but it had some money behind it, but nothing. I wouldn't say it's. I don't know. It's pretty darn polished for the
It's
studio behind it.
polished,
It's not
but
Bethesda, but it's a Bethesda owned studio.
yeah, it's polished and it's really, really good. Like, it's not broken. The story's good. The combat's good. But I'm saying, like, as in terms of it being, it's not a AAA
No, no,
experience. It's a
nothing
double
like
A.
that.
It's close, but it's there's just some things where it's like, all right, I can see that this is just a double A game, but it's not a bad thing.
No, it's not, but it's built upon such a great concept.
Oh, I love it. I immediately latched onto the concept because it's a music-based combat game, and everything in the game moves to a beat.
Yep.
Everything.
The
The
whole
music,
world is so alive. It's crazy.
yeah, and even the music in the game, because they have licensed songs that they got specifically for this game. Every single song has the same exact beat to it, so that you never lose the beat to the entire
Mm.
game.
I didn't even pick up on that. I didn't even pick
I
up on that it was different
I did.
or the
Every
same.
single song has a beat to it that makes it the same. So maybe in one song, the snare drums are in the background making the beat keep up with it. And another one I heard, I think it was the bass of it. I just heard the beat that goes throughout the entire game. Same thing with the guitar in one song. Every single song has the same exact beat to it or something in it that has the beat. So you never lose track of this beat.
And it makes you wonder, it's like sure, there's going to be some songs that have it, and there's going to be some that they made for the game. I do wonder if they either slightly sped up or slowed down other songs to an extent to make it match. I would not be mad if they did that. I'd have to look into that. That's my guess, though, for like a couple of them, or unless it's just a really common BPM for most songs to run at.
Hmm.
But it takes some getting used to. But the whole idea of combat being linked to the beat of each song, it works so well. I thought I'd pick up on it faster. It ended up being harder than I thought. But once you're
Hmm.
kind of in the zone for a bit, you played it for a bit, it's kind of almost second nature.
Another thing is, I love the story so far. I think it's pretty creative.
Hmm.
Now, granted, I've only played the first level because I started it yesterday, and you're this kid that goes into this weird robo warehouse, and they're starting tests on human subjects to replace arms and limbs and like eyes and stuff. And your character has like a bad arm, so he gets his arm replaced. And at the time, he puts down his music player, and there's all this hijinks that happens, and the music player ends up with the machine that he's in.
It fall
That's
they drop it all the way down this warehouse. It lands right on his chest, his like MP3 player, and then they go to do the operation with the big machine.
Yeah, and it stamps the MP3 player into his chest. So now that's your explanation as to why the entire world now is moving to a beat.
Yeah,
Everything is the enemies, the weapons that you hold. For instance, like he is able to form together like a guitar out of metal, and it goes chink 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 chink, and like it'll sync to the beat of like a rhythm or something like that. Same thing with his walking motion. I noticed the
yeah. I
first
noticed he
time
runs to the beat. It's hilarious.
he you start off without shoes, like you're in a hospital gown, and you hear the little pitter patter of his feet, and it matches to the beat. It goes dink donk donk. I'm like,
I
that's
noticed it
really
because I'm
cool.
like, he just runs weird. But then I
Yeah,
look closer, and it's
yeah,
it's because
and
he's
you
moving,
hear
going
it.
to the beat.
If there's not anything out for the rest of the year that's pretty good. Like, I mean, we have Zelda 2, and there's other things that PlayStation's coming out with and Xbox. But I can see this being in my top 10 this year, easy so far. It's really
It's
good.
one of the most creative games I've seen in a good long time.
Yeah, just the beat mechanic itself is really creative, and it doesn't seem like it's taken from anything else. Like, the most I thought about was maybe Rhythm Heaven, but not
But that's not even
to
close to the same game.
yeah, this is an entire game that the combat, the way you move, everything is linked to songs, music, and the beat of your tempo, basically.
Exactly. There's just so much good things to say about. There's just so much they did right in this game, and it was at a time where both of us are like, I know, at least for me, I'm looking and I'm like, I don't know how much there is to play. There's a few things I'd want to play, but I kind of want something new to get invested in, and this came out at just the right time.
Yeah, right now I'm just kind of going through my backlog of games. Like I've been playing Alan Wake lately. That's a great game, by the way. I recommend that to you.
Hmm.
Um, it's fairly cheap. You could probably get it for like 7 bones, but uh, I've been just going through my backlog because there's not anything coming out.
Yeah, nothing too crazy.
Like I play Overwatch, and that's like the only fairly new game that like I've continued to play.
Yeah, yeah. I've discovered a couple more gems, kind of like I mentioned earlier, Autonauts on Game Pass. But between Autonauts and this and Hi-Fi Rush and GoldenEye, I think I'm gonna be pretty content for a while. Playing
Yeah,
playing GoldenEye on the Xbox is honestly a blast.
it really is. It really is, and it still has the multiplayer. So
It does. It's just not online, but you know,
yeah,
it's
you have
different.
a couple guys over. It's
You have a
fun.
bigger TV than in 19 whatever, but you know, you're actually going to be able to enjoy it a bit more with your friends.
Yeah, and I
So
just now got some more Xbox controllers recently, so I'm definitely gonna have a snipers only.
it's always fun to have more local co-op games. We're desperately missing them,
Hmm.
but
Yeah, when we did the It Takes Two, that's one thing we really said. But uh, when it comes to the future, Jace, what videos are you working on? You want to give a little tease?
I have been swapping out batteries on my 3DSs, trying out seeing whether or not it's worth getting some new ones after all these years, and I think that the results will surprise you. So watch out for that
Really?
video. It's quite
Ah,
interesting in my experience. I was not expecting those results. So,
that is some interesting topics.
and you got something going on too, right?
Yep, I've got two projects in the works. I'm currently doing a ton of trailer research just to see like what I could do next. But as far as Zetharoni episodes, I have the Hot Wheels Acceleracers retrospective, which is massive so far. Um, it's a very big video. It's the biggest one we've ever done. So very excited about that. We have the first collaboration coming up, which is very exciting.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna get Jace to watch the rest of those movies here soon, and we are gonna have a fun guest. Fun guest. He loves Hot Wheels, so we're gonna have him, and we're just gonna talk about our thoughts. We're gonna all have some sort of different opinions on it because Jace is new to the series. I'm a veteran, so is the other guy. So we'll see. That'll be a fun podcast. And then to top it off, I'm working on a Epic Mickey retrospective.
Well, cool. Yeah, a
Yeah.
lot of good stuff in the works here. And
Yeah.
I have more stuff, obviously, than that one going on. I don't want to say anything too much set it in stone, but
Mm-hmm.
they should be fun. They should be fun. It's more, I'm trying to do more stuff that, there's a lot of stuff I think is like, oh, that's cool. I kind of want to do that. And I end up doing it. And then I go do something fun. And I'm like, man, I wish I recorded that. That was actually kind of neat. But I'm trying to do more stuff like that. If I find something interesting, something I'm working on, I might walk you guys through the process. I think that'd be enjoyable. So,
Yeah.
um,
But just a lot of great content that's coming. There will not be disappointment. I can tell you that right now.
nope. So I'm looking forward to it. I think it's been a great return to the podcast. I think this has been a good episode. So
Yeah. It's a new year. We've gained 1,000 subscribers, which,
that is
to be
awesome.
honest, that was like the coolest thing in the world.
Well, I didn't think we'd make it this far, honestly.
Dude,
I'm
remember when
gonna
we
be serious.
Oh no, dude, I'm being dead serious too. Like, remember when we first started and I was like, "Oh yeah, it'd be cool if like we got like 25 listeners."
Yeah, 25 people that are like, "Oh yeah, that'd be cool to hear what they have to say." Like that's so insane to
That
me that we got to
not
1,000.
1,000.
So we truly appreciate you guys watching us, just sticking through us, especially in our earlier
Early
days.
rough
But
years.
most of you guys watching will have the proud privilege of saying that you were one of the first ones. If we ever go anywhere, it was. I remember you guys. I'll remember everybody else, but like you specifically, like you. I just kind of, but
Points at the camera aggressively.
I just want to say thanks. It's just super cool. I mean, I didn't, like I said, I did not think we'd make it this far, but I'm excited to continue.
It's a
We're
very
we're finding our
it
niche. I like it.
yeah, we're getting our niche audience and it takes time and hard work. Definitely hard work, a year of hard work. Um but it is incredible, really.
So yeah, thanks for sticking with us.
Did
Through
they
thick and
stick through
thin,
this podcast though?
thick and thin for sure. Well, yeah, one of the things what we were gonna work on is to stop rambling so much. So with that all being said, thank you so much for watching the J
Wait,
and
I
Z.
never agreed to that.
I agreed to it.
Oh, did you?
I gotta keep you in check, keep me in check.
So, new year, new podcast. Yay.
Woohoo! I'm excited. We haven't done a podcast in a bit. We've kind of been working on our own projects. I'm a little excited
Yeah.
to get back into it.
We've got a new schedule. For those that don't know, we're gonna do like one of these every month now instead of every week. So that's a little easier on us, so we can focus on content. You know, Jace has his product reviews, I have my in-depth reviews, and also my trailer edits. So once a month, you're gonna get like 4 different types of content each week. We're gonna try our best.
Yep, and we can't promise we're gonna stick to everything exactly, but that's kind of the new plan. It evens up the workload a bit. It's just better overall.
Yeah. But like when you see a video that's like specifically like Jace's product reviews, you know specifically like that is Jace's 100% effort on that. Like that's all his work. I have nothing to do with it. Same thing with my videos. Jace, I'm finally good enough with my editing and my audio editing, I believe, where I don't need Jace's help anymore with that. Same thing with my trailer edits, and the podcast is going to be like the only thing where we're really going to be like collaborating with.
Yeah, and we may help each other out from time to time, but
Yeah,
it's nice
kind
to
of like
be
the
able
She-Hulk
to.
one.
Yeah, it's nice to be able to express yourself kind of in a way without having to, just do certain things. You can just kind of do it how you want it, and then if you want some help or some input in other areas, have them on.
Yeah, we do.
Give them a part.
Yeah, like you still watch my videos before they come out, and you're like, yeah, maybe we can change this, or yeah, that's really funny, or you need to boost the sound with this. So
yeah, it's nice to have somebody both ways that you can kind of run through quality control, because each of us, I think, have some good ideas on what you can add or maybe what you could take out of a video that makes it better overall, instead of just you with your one. It's like one track mind. It's like, this is how I want it. You get a second opinion. It just helps everybody out.
Yeah, it really does.